Good morning. Thanks for joining us again. I mentioned that this week we're talking about the Magi. I like to call them the mysterious Magi because there's a lot we don't know about them. We surmise a lot of things. I like what it says in 1 Chronicles 16:29. Give to the Lord the glory his name deserves. We live in a world where things that are sacred, we don't treat them like they're sacred. And I know sometimes I probably am disrespectful of some things that I shouldn't be. But it says, give the Lord the glory his name deserves. Bring an offering and come to him. Worship the Lord in his holy splendor. 1 Chronicles 16:29. And in the first Noel, it says of the Magi, and offered there in his presence their gold and myrrh and frankincense. Which is why we think there were three of them, but we don't know for sure. Have you ever wondered, and I think it's a great question that Alan Vermeil poses, have you ever wondered whether the wise men stood in the middle of the desert, surrounded by the scorching sun, the soft sand beneath their feet, and the faint smell of frankincense and myrrh lingering in the air, questioning if their long and treacherous journey was truly worth it? Right? You ever do something, like I can think of people, they invest, they go on a mission team, and I've never heard anybody really say, well, that wasn't worth it. I wish I didn't do that. It's interesting how that works. The question, though, is a valid one, and it's one I'd never really asked before. But I'm convinced that they felt good about their trip. And I don't think most of us really even understand like how much of a journey it was. I mentioned the other day, it was 800 to 900 miles one way. Round trip, that's going to take a long time. If you're traveling by camel, it's going to take a month or two each way. If you're traveling by foot, double that, at least. It is an arduous journey. They had gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So these are costly gifts. And you're traveling through parts unknown. It's dangerous. It was treacherous what they did. And yet they risked their lives to bring gifts to this baby king. What possessed them to do that? Well, they were somehow able to perceive a divine message and then act upon it in a remarkable way. What's God calling you to in 2024? Is there something you're starting to think, maybe I should do that? I remember a few years back, I didn't say much to this one friend of mine. He says I kind of twisted his arm, but I just said, how about you going? He's like, to Haiti. He goes, no, I'm the guy that writes the checks. It was the Holy Spirit that started working on him, and then he had the time of his life in Haiti. He was so glad that he went. So glad that he moved from the guy that just wrote the check. And that's a great thing to do. But to go on the adventure, that's what the Magi did. They went on the adventure. And despite any hardships or dangers that they experienced, and there was a lot of things that happened, and most of it we don't know, but they kept pressing on until they found the baby king. Think about the amount of time, talent, and treasure they spent searching. The time they gave up that they could have spent on something else. But no, they were determined. These were people that were into enlightenment. Whatever else we might know about Magi, they were fascinated with the world around them and they wanted to learn more. One of the things that sometimes we get so much into the imagery and the symbolism of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, I'm not even going to mess with that today, but these were expensive gifts. And we don't know how much they gave, but to a peasant family, it was worth a lot. And do you know what? They needed the money. See, nobody knew except the Lord knew, and he provided. This was a family that was soon going to be headed to Egypt as refugees. And the gold, the frankincense, and the myrrh is probably what sustained Jesus and Joseph and Mary on their way to Egypt while they were there and when they returned. Follow the example of the wise men, of the Magi. Listen to what the Spirit's calling you to do, and you will fulfill God's purpose in your time. And I just want to encourage you, as 2024 looms around the corner, take those steps of faith just the same way that they did. And I don't think you'll be standing in the desert regretting it. God bless you. Have a great week, and Happy New Year.